And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. My guest today is Dr. Ed Lewellen. Dr. Lewellen is, and I really have to call you Dr. Ed because I've known you so many years. The thing that I'm so excited about with you being on the show is that in this segment, I want to talk about what you're doing to create the success that you're having. In other words, what are you doing for your clients directly? I'm hearing so many great stories. Help us understand. What are you doing?
Sure. So let me focus on one company in particular that I've been working with this year. Started actually right in January. So the owner of the company contacted me. He had seen me speak at an event and said, "Let's talk. What can you do for me?" So we got together. Of course, he decided to bring me on, and so for the first 30 days. I worked exclusively with him. And what we did is we created a change in mindset. Now, this is a company that they do mortgages, but he was wanting to expand the company to become a builder. And beyond that, not only building homes, building apartments. And so he's got a big vision of where he wants his company to go. So at the beginning, he had some limitations that were keeping him from being able to, really do everything that he would like to do. His vision was to build 2 houses this year. And so after working with him, it's always so amazing for me to see people because he tells me, "Ed," he says, "everything is changing." He'd been through divorce, teenage kids, the usual problems when all that happens. He says, I'm acting differently towards my kids, and so they're responding differently to me.
Amazing how that works.
Yeah, he says, it's great. And, and I could tell some of the stories that he shared, but, anyway, so his relationship there with his kids changed. He told me his relationship with his people that work for him had changed to the point where he was much more effective as a leader. And they were being more productive. So we get through the 30 days, and he decides to retain me for the entirety of this year.
Right.
And so the next step was he brought me in to work with some of his salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked with a couple of his salespeople, and boom, they took off like a rocket. To the point where he started being able to step away from the mortgage side of the business. Now, one of his key people was the next person I worked with, and she had a lot of concerns. He had wanted her to get her mortgage broker's license. She'd been scared, hesitant, fearful, because she loved him and the company so much. She didn't want to do something that would cost him money and then end up failing.
Oh, so she was the fear of failure.
And so that's the reason why she didn't want to take this test. So I worked with her, and it was amazing because before working with her, when you go into the office, you'd see her walking around kind of with shoulders rolled forward, head down a little bit, very servant-like attitude. She could not say no to anybody, who asked her to do something. So she was constantly stressed because she'd always say yes.
Right. She'd always keep getting into overwhelm.
Absolutely. When I saw her a couple of weeks after working with her, it was amazing. Her shoulders were back. Her head was up. She was able to tell people, you know what? I don't have any capacity for that.
Right.
So her stress level was down. And again, she told me stories about even family, how this had affected that. So here, this key person had an amazing change and was flipped to where she had this confidence, and she's now taken that test and passed it.
Well, I'm curious, how has that experience with you, what results have they seen this year?
So instead of, again, his plan was to build 2 houses. He has built, I believe, close to 20.
20. 10
And-
times what they thought.
And his plan is by the end of the year that he'll build 30.
Wow. And how has it affected the salespeople?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's the growth is, as you can see from the numbers, exponential.
Yeah, I mean, well, but they do several things. They are doing building homes, they're doing mortgages, all of those different. And I would imagine that there's a great deal of difference in who does what there.
Sure.
And I'm just curious, do you have any kind of ideas? Is it 100% that they've done, or is it the tenfold that I mean, the first number you threw out was 2 to 20.
You mean as far as how much the salespeople were making?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an exact number on that, but it's out of this world.
They keep raving about you.
Well, yeah, I mean, because of me working with them and the boss, they've experienced a huge increase in income.
Wow, that is really amazing. Folks, it's hard to try to tell somebody what Ed's able to do because it seems a little bit far-fetched that he can go in and work with somebody for 30 days and their vision shifts. He can work with an organization for 6 to 8 months, and all of a sudden they're creating massive growth because of the adjustments. And I know what it really is about is that when we create lasting change at this level, the unconscious level, we create amazing results. And Dr. has been able to do that over and over again for his clientele. I really encourage you to connect with him. This is the Business Spotlight. And I'm Pat Dewar, my guest, Dr. Ed Lewellen. We'll be right back.